you don't leave that out. That's the perfect place to say, hey,
Yeah.
this is what's next. If you enjoyed the quick wins I provided to you, in this powerful read, here's how you can work with me further.
Yes. You just dropped so many nuggets. You just dropped so many nuggets. Welcome to the Side Hustler Podcast, the podcast for women building their dreams while balancing work, family, and all the things. I'm your host, Carly LeBlanc, a wife, mom, marketer, and your side hustling friend here to teach you how to grow a brand that works for you and not the other way around. Whether you're a side hustling pro or just starting out, this is your safe place for real talk, actionable strategies, and the encouragement you need to keep going. We're here to help you make progress and not perfection. So grab your favorite drink, settle in, and let's build your dream one step at a time. Hello, and welcome back to the Side Hustler Podcast. I'm your host, Carly LeBlanc, and I'm so excited to have you here today because today we are actually going to be sitting down and chatting with one of my clients. Today we're sitting down with one of my clients, Auketria Manor, who is a multi-time author and the founder of the Manor Digital. Now, Auketria and I connected earlier in this year, actually at one of my co-working and content events, and then she actually ended up booking me for a content day. But she specializes in helping women entrepreneurs build brand building books. What is a brand building book? This is a great question. Auketria has figured out that there are so many women that are overwhelmed, that are burnt out in their current business model, and they are possibly even serving clients on a one-to-one basis. And a brand building book is a way that you are able to serve many clients, so one to many rather than one to one. And it allows women to free up their time, to have more impact, to be able to help and serve more people at capacity rather than overwhelming yourself and burning yourself out. So, in this episode, we are going to be talking about what a brand building book looks like, how it feeds into your email list, how does it build authority, how does it funnel people to your premium offers, and the common myths that keep smart women entrepreneurs stuck, such as they think that they're not a writer or that their book has to be 1 billion pages long. And so if you are building a business while juggling a 9 to 5, maybe you're a mom, maybe you're balancing all the things, this conversation is going to be for you because it's going to teach you how to package your current business model into a brand building book to serve multiple people at one time. So let's get into it. All right. Well, hello, Auketria, and welcome to the Side Hustler
Hello,
Podcast.
Carly. Thank you for having me. I'm excited.
Yes, I'm so excited to have you here. And so, for all of the listeners that are tuning in, Auketria is one of my clients. We had a content day a couple weeks ago, and she's just such a phenomenal being and such a good person to have in your corner. When we first met at one of my co-working and content events in person, because we had already met on social media, but when we met in person, we really just hit it off from there. And so I'm super excited because she's just a wealth of knowledge about all things about brand building books and signature offers. And I knew that there's so many people that are here that could benefit from it because a lot of you are side hustling entrepreneurs, you're building businesses, but you also want to be able to put yourself in multiple places without burning yourself out. And so that's why we're having this conversation. So I'm super excited to have you here.
I'm excited to be here, and you hit the nail on the head. I
Oh,
mean, it's been up ever since we met. No, it's just like one of those business connections that just kind of flow. I was like, okay, she's a breath of fresh air. I can learn from her. And I've definitely been learning content and everything, not just on our content day that we had, but just following you on social media. Um, and you don't gatekeep. I love that. And so I've learned a lot just in this last month and a half that I've been connected with you online. So I'm excited.
yes, yes. So for all of the people that are new to you, new to your world, give them a little insight on who you are, what you do, and all of the
Oh,
things.
yes. Okay. So, as Carly has already said, I'm Auketria Manor. I am a multi-time author, and I think one fun fact about me, just industry related, is that I got my start with a novel. I published a novel over 10 years ago. Um, I wrote it at work. Don't tell nobody. But I was with a small press publishing house who disbanded like a year after my book was published. And I'm thinking, okay, what do I do now? She handed over our files and was like, I'm disbanding. So not just me, but there's other authors on this roster, and we no longer had a home or a publishing house to oversee our books. And I'm like, okay, what do I do? So long story short, I was thrust into the world of self-publishing because of course I wanted my book to stay on the market because my book was doing so good. Like I was getting royalty checks like every month. My book was really doing well. And so I'm like, no,
Mm.
like we got to keep the momentum going. And so I had to learn self-publishing. Of course, a lot of other people were already doing it, but I wasn't. So I was green to it, but I was able to get it done, get my book back on the market. And that turned into, hey, I know you wrote a book. Can you edit my manuscript? People who knew me locally, can you edit my manuscript?
Mhm.
Can you show me what you did? And then as time would have it, I was like, okay, so I started offering services like that, editing, proofing, and things like that. But then it started turning into, hey, can you publish my book for me? And I'm like, well, let me see what I need to do in order to do that. I will admit that it was a little bit of trial and error. Definitely underpaid
Mhm.
myself that first go round, but that is how the business started. And then it just kind of
Mm.
grew into what it is now from there.
Yeah. No, that is so amazing. I feel like you said so many valuable things in there. How you took your own experience and decided to monetize your experience to help other people. And for most people that start businesses, that's typically how it goes. Like even with my story, people are always asking me like, "Oh, do you shoot content for businesses? Can you help me shoot my own content?" And that's where my business was
Mhm.
created. And I feel like it's just so amazing because also one thing that you did mention is that you still work your corporate job. Like you still operate your business while having a corporate job. And I feel like it's so critical for people to be able to see women like you and I who still have 9 to 5 jobs and careers, but are still deciding to step out on faith and build businesses that have impact on the side. And so I absolutely love
Thank
that.
you. And you're right. I and the people at my job, they know that I have a business where I help people develop and publish books. It's the funniest thing. And
Mhm.
so I know for our department, because I'm in the IT department, one of the things they were talking about having a technical writer. And I'm like, I'm an audit and governance manager. I'm not a technical writer. But anytime we have any type of
Hmm.
project going on that has a heavy writing component, hey, we could probably get Auketria to come in and do this. Like, let's assign this to Auketria. And so it has spilled over into my day job. And I mean, I appreciate it because it doesn't conflict with what I do, so it's
Mhm.
no issue.
Mhm.
But so, yeah, I'm known at work as a writer, a strong writer.
Yeah, that's amazing. That's amazing. And so, what I wanted to talk about is as far as the power of brand building
Mhm.
books. I know that that is kind of like your signature statement, like how to build a brand building book. So, what exactly is a brand building book for people that are new to the whole book cultural book industry? What does that mean?
Very good question. So it's not your typical book, right? And truthfully, people do build brands off of fiction. I mean, that people build
Hmm.
brands off of that. And so, like I said, my first book was a novel, but when I'm focusing strictly with women entrepreneurs, because obviously that's who my target audience is, a brand building book is just, it's not your typical book. It's about positioning. It's about writing a book that aligns with your brand. It's also about being strategic, formulating a book that provides a solution, not entertainment, right? It's not a feel good moment, but we're providing a solution. So you're even going beyond like sharing knowledge, right? What kind of quick win can you get this reader? How can you position this book to be a funnel to your premium offer? And one of the things that a brand building book should do, it should kind of be that 24/7 salesperson, if you will, right? And so like we were
Mm.
talking about, off the record a little bit earlier, being in multiple places at one time, but because you've heard the cliche, I can't be in, two places at one time, but with a book you can, right? With a book you can. And so
Hmm.
it's this continual, asset in your business that continues to funnel, prospects to a premium offer. It continues to generate impact and income, and it should lead to other opportunities like speaking, media, cases like this, being on other people's platforms where you can share that knowledge, because it's not just about entertainment or I want to tell my story. That's cool. but what is someone going to get from your story? Can we fix it in a way to where somebody else
Yes.
gets some sort of a benefit from it and not just be entertained? So that's what a brand building book is. It's going to propel you to be this authority, right? In your industry or in your niche. That's what it should do.
Okay, quick pause. If creating consistent content feels like a full time job on top of your full time job, then you're going to want to hear this. I am excited to bring to you Batch, which is a new marketplace platform that I and my co founder, Lauren, have created, built for entrepreneurs and content creators. This is the marketplace that is going to connect business owners and entrepreneurs who need content with vetted local creators who can help them plan, shoot, and edit their content all in one place. So many of you have asked, when am I going to be able to book you for a content day? When can you come to my city? Do you know anyone in my city that does what you do? And this is going to be the solution. So whether you're an entrepreneur who is tired of struggling to find reliable content creators, photographers, or maybe you're just a creator who's ready to get booked and paid without having to go through the social media marketing of your business, Batch is going to be the platform that bridges that gap. So, say for instance, if you're flying to New York for a speaking engagement and you need content there, or even if you have a vendor pop up event in New Orleans and you need content there, Batch is going to be the creator marketplace that helps you get high quality content to market your brand online. It's designed to help you finally show up online with strategy, with confidence, and create consistent content that converts and actually helps you reach your visibility and revenue goals without the overwhelm. So if you're ready to make content creation easier and more intentional, head over to batchcontent.com. That's BATCHED content.com. Join the waitlist so you are the first to know when Batch is launched in your city. That is amazing. That's amazing because I think that that's kind of like, even when people think about, like I was talking about on my stories the other day, how people think like, oh, I just want to start a podcast. And I'm like, okay, so like, why are we starting a podcast? Like, why should someone care about your
Mm.
podcast, you know? And so I think about like just what you said as far as like a brand building book, like what is someone going to get out of picking up your book off of the shelf and taking their precious time to read it, to listen to it, to do whatever it is for me? Most people nowadays are multitasking. We don't have time. So, you know, although many people have powerful
Yes.
stories, right? But it has to draw in or connect to something to help someone gain something, learn something, or, you know, get some key takeaways on how they can, you know, go from point A to point B. So I
Yes.
love how you hit on that, because I think that even when it comes to just building a brand, like everybody thinks it's a great idea to build a brand, but it's like, what makes your brand stand out? Why should people care about your brand? And it's not to be like, you know, direct or you know, negative, but sometimes we have to literally sit there and ask ourselves, like, why should someone care? Why should someone spend so much of their time, you know, reading a book, listening to a podcast, watching a YouTube
Yeah.
video? So I love, love, love how you hit on that.
Yeah, absolutely. Absolutely. What's the purpose? What is someone going to get out of this, right? So,
Mm-hmm.
even with my latest book that I published last year, I could have made it about, me and my kid, but I wanted to give an educational perspective to parents of student athletes and what that recruitment process looks like and how to actually navigate it, because obviously I went through it for the first time. So yeah, I was really, really green to it.
Mm-hmm.
So when I was getting certain responses from the content, it's like, okay, I'm a writer. I can actually write a book about this, everything that I learned on the journey and what I can show parents what to look for, what to avoid, and
Mm-hmm.
that's what I did. So it wasn't about, oh, let me just tell my story, about what I experienced on the recruitment trail. No, 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 no. Mom, dad, this is what you need to look for. This is what I learned. This is what you need to look
Yeah.
for. This is what you need to avoid, So, yeah, what are we going to give people when they grab our books and read them? We owe them something.
Yes. Yes. And I think that brings me to my next question, as far as like, how does your book play a part of like your brand's ecosystem, as far as visibility, as far as lead gen, as far as like brand authority? Because I know that that's one thing that you were talking about when we had our content day, how, everyone needs like this methodology, and basically you're not giving them everything, but you're kind of just giving them something to push them to the next thing. And so I want you to talk a little bit about that. Like, what role does a book play as far as visibility and lead gen, and having a solid methodology do for your
I
brand?
mean, you hit the nail on the head right there. That's absolutely one of the very first things that I will always tell a client. This is your lead generation. This is leading to your funnel, but this is your lead generation. First and foremost, it should lead, readers to your premium offers. It should lead them to a community. And, we kind of get a little bit more granular when I'm working with clients one-on-one. What does that premium offer look like for your business model, right? Most of us, we have a one-to-one offer. That's how most of us build our businesses that we promote in the online space anyway. But one of the things that I focus heavily
Mm-hmm.
on for clients is, okay, you're already winning with one-to-one work. At some point, you're at capacity during the quarter with one-to-one work because you are one person. You can only do so much, and there's only so many
Mm-hmm.
hours in the day. So we're going to build this lead generation tool, i.e., your book, your brand building book. And inside that book, you're going to give them enough of your framework. I mean, you can give them the entire framework, but not the entire how to. But they should get these quick wins, right? Based off the framework that we're going to document in the book. But that's going to also lead to the premium offer. I would always recommend, if you're filled to capacity with one-to-one, the premium offer should obviously be a group offer, right? Some sort of a group coaching
Mm-hmm.
program or a group membership. Maybe you're going to do a live event, like you're already getting ready to do the second one. That is a premium
Mm-hmm.
offer, but it also allows you to serve one to many. And so that's what the book should also do. You're going to have lead generation. It should definitely also be a relationship builder. And when I say a relationship builder,
Mm.
um there's a certain amount of trust that comes with having a book. And I realize that it's a saturated market, but it doesn't have you yet. You know what I mean? It doesn't have
Yeah.
your story yet. It doesn't have your methodology yet. So it's a relationship builder. So it creates this level of trust that may not necessarily be there just because they come across your content online. For some people that works, but for
Mm-hmm.
some people it does not. So it should definitely bridge that gap because
Mm-hmm.
everybody learns differently, everybody trusts differently. So it's a relationship builder, okay? And
Yeah.
then scalability. Going back to the premium offer, like I said, we probably already have one because our one-to-one offers are premium offers. But the premium offer that your book should funnel to should be some sort of a group offer, or it should be a premium offer that doesn't look like a premium one-to-one offer that you already have. So it gives you an
Yeah.
opportunity to, like I said, it takes you from, one to one to many. The book alone helps you serve one to many. And so a little trick that I do for my clients, you have the front matter of your book and you have the back matter of your book. The back matter is typically where you see the about the author. Um, but for my
Mm-hmm.
clients, especially if they want to funnel to a premium offer outside of their one-to-one offers, this is how you can work with me. Because in the front matter, you're where you have your copyright information. You talk about how they can order books in bulk, because that's also
Mm-hmm.
another premium way to earn from your book,
Mm.
right? Because you have organizations and
Mm.
things of that sort who may want to do a bulk order, right? And the bulk order sometimes is
Yeah.
placed in exchange for you to come and speak. I mean, there's so many avenues to funnel impact and income into your business with one simple asset. One simple tangible asset.
Yes.
And so, yeah, in the back matter, we get into the tea back there. This is how you can work with me, outside of this book. I mean, obviously not that verbiage, but yes, like, because if it's going to be a marketing tool, you don't leave that out. That's the perfect place to say, hey,
Yeah.
this is what's next. If you enjoyed the quick wins I provided to you, in this powerful read, here's how you can work with me further.
Yes. You just dropped so many nuggets. You just dropped so many nuggets because it's basically like what I've been telling people as far as like there should never be a dead end in your marketing. Like literally you're taking people from one step to another, you're taking them from one step to another. Whatever way they find
Hmm.
you, like it should always lead them to somewhere. And so I think that you just honed in and you just like packaged that so beautifully. But I did want to ask because I know that somebody's gonna be like listening and they're gonna be like, okay, this all sounds great, but like, who do you feel is the perfect candidate for having a brand building book?
I mean, entrepreneurs at large. I mean, now I
Yeah,
specifically work with women, and I have my reasons for that. I have had male clients and they have been extraordinary. I've had quite a few. But I
yeah.
feel like when we're in business, and I don't know how applicable this is, but I think it might bless somebody. When we're in business, part of being in business is paying attention to the numbers, if you will, right? And that goes
Mm-hmm.
beyond, okay, how many dollars you're bringing into the business, but who's booking you? What do those sessions look like?
Yeah,
Okay, what do those sessions look like?
yeah.
What are those prospects or clients? What are they doing that makes sense for your business? And what do I need to change in my business? And so the majority of my clients were or have been women. When I look at my insights or analytics, when I look at that, the interactions and the engagements, it's women. And who's leading the
Mm-hmm.
charge in, who's leading the charge by a huge gap in entrepreneurship? No, not to the fellas, because men, we need you to lead and we love you.
Yeah,
But business is
yeah.
a numbers game. What makes sense for the
Mm-hmm.
business? And I think that women are more willing to take risks when it comes to their business goals. What do I need to do in order to pivot so that I can do less? Because I'm a wife, I'm a mom, I'm a
Mm-hmm.
corporate baddie. I work in the ministry at my
Mm-hmm.
church. I do community work. I'm at
Mm-hmm.
capacity because I'm so many
Yeah.
things to so many people. So, is this the stopping point for my business, or can I grow it more? And if I do, what does that look like? Am I going to burn out? Is something else
Mm.
in my life going to take a back
Hmm.
seat? Or you get what I'm saying? So, even with
Yeah.
one-to-one work, we can't move too far past capacity, because then it starts to affect the quality that we're delivering to our clients. And so
Yep.
that is why women is who I want to bless in this
Hmm.
area with my expertise. Like, sis, let me show you how you can, elevate
Yeah.
your business, impact, and income without it taking you out, without the hustle taking you out, without you feeling like, something has to lose in order for your business to keep winning. And so that
Yeah.
that's my reason.
Yeah.
Did I answer
No,
your
I feel
question,
like
Carly?
that's the same thing with me. No, I think yes, you did. Yes, you did. No, I feel like that's the same reason why my demographic is the same. But I also feel like, it goes back to you serving a previous chapter of yourself. Like,
Mm,
no, and no shade to the men, but it's like you are always going to be able to put yourself in the shoes of your ideal
yes.
customer when the ideal customer looks like a previous chapter of
Yeah.
you. And so if you as a person that has a business that has books that leads into your business, like you know what that feels like to be overwhelmed, to be burnt out, to be all of the things. And so you're able to convey that message. You're able to relate to how that feels. You're able to relate to how it feels to be wife, mom, this, that, and the third, juggling here, there, everywhere. You know what that
Yeah.
feels like. And so that's what I say. Like whenever people are like, who am I supposed to, talk to? Who am I supposed to serve? Most of the time, it's a previous version of
That's so
yourself
good.
because you are always going to be able to relate back to that person and really just like step into character and feel how they feel, think how they think, all of the things. So I totally agree with everything that
Yeah.
you said.
Yeah.
Everything.
Okay.
So, what do you feel like are some of the most common myths or limiting beliefs that people have about writing books? Because, even with you, when before we even met, like I had no idea
Hmm.
about right? Like never even thought to myself about considering to write a book. And then we had our content day and I'm like, wait, maybe I need to
I
write a
remember,
book. Like,
I remember that. Like, listen, I mean, in the way that things are
yes.
booming for you, eventually you're probably gonna need to, because the rapid growth
Yeah.
that you've seen just in the last week, yeah, you won't be able to serve everybody. Well, I'm like, Carly, I can't even get in. You booked out till December, like you. The pivot is coming, Carly. It's coming. But
I received
yes,
that.
it's coming, and I think just to kind of be here to witness it all is really been inspiring. So it's been inspiring. But to your question, such a good question, because there are so many myths when it comes to books. But I do want to be clear about something. We obviously know that although the book is this tangible thing, it's this tangible asset in your business, we know that a book is a low cost offer. It's a low cost product,
Mm-hmm.
especially at first glance. Your thought is, oh, it's a low cost product. But is it?
Mm-hmm.
Is it? If
Hmm.
you if this book is developed in the way in which I develop for my clients, it's not low cost at all, because the return
Mm-hmm.
on the investment is going to lead to
Yeah.
your funnel them into your ecosystem, where they're going to end up working with you one-on-one, with the premium, with your premium offer, or your premium offer that's more of a group setting. So it's low cost, to
Mm-hmm.
the person purchasing it, but the return, I mean, it's pretty much endless, because even beyond the premium offer, it's endless. But so that's one myth, right? That, oh, okay, what can I really, get back from a book? Hello,
Mm-hmm.
that you get back clients, whether you're going to work with them one to one or not. You get that back. You get authority with this one book. You elevate your credibility with this
Mm-hmm.
one book. And again, like we talked about earlier, you get to be in multiple places at one time with this book. And
Yeah.
if we have time, I want to come back to that moment. I met someone who, I believe she's going to write her book soon, but it's like, hopefully sooner than later, because she can't be in all of these places that folks want her to be. She can't counsel all of these people. But with the book
Yeah.
you can, right? With the
Yep.
book you can. So that's one thing. Also, that the book has to be 200 pages long. It does not. A book does not have to be super
Mm.
long to be impactful. Now, I'm not going to tell folks to go write a 50-page
Mm-hmm.
book and publish it on Amazon. I mean, come on. Where's the integrity in that? That's not what I'm saying. You have to say things, because people will take that one little snippet and be like, But it doesn't have to be 200 pages long. Can you get your reader to their win in 100 pages or less? If you can, then so be it. My latest book was not 200 pages, but it got the point across, and my
Mm.
readers got what I would like to call a quick win, or a good win, because the feedback shows it. The reviews, the emails, hey, I read your book and oh my God, it was so helpful before me and my son, went
Mm-hmm.
on these campus visits. That's the goal. What kind of benefit is it going to be? So no, it doesn't have to be 200
Yeah.
pages. It needs to be impactful, and they need to walk away with something beneficial. That's what the focus has to be when you're writing the
Yeah.
book. So it does not have to be 200 pages. I also think that some people are of the mind, I'm not a writer. Well, a lot of people who wrote books are not, and they probably should not have. But you don't have to be a writer by trade to write a brand building book. That's
Mm-hmm.
where my GPS template comes in, because
Yeah.
I'm going to help you to be intentional with what you're writing, and it'll help you to actually map out the book's outline, so you're not rambling all over the place. And then the book is also not so you
Mm-hmm.
centered, but it's giving your reader glimpses of your story, because that's obviously important. That makes you relatable, that helps them to see themselves or the
Mm-hmm.
possibilities in what it is you're sharing. But we keep it reader focused, because that's who it's for.
Yeah.
It's not about just putting your name on a book. So we make sure it's not just you focus. You don't have to be a writer. I'm going to show you how to write a book, because if you're an entrepreneur, you can write. That's number one. You can write. If you write emails,
Mm-hmm.
you can follow this GPS template to get this outline for your brand building book. Another thing is, I don't have enough time. It's not enough time in the day, which is probably
Mm.
true. because we know that entrepreneurship keeps us busy. We have to carve out time to do every little thing that we set our minds to. But that's also,
Yeah.
again, why I have the GPS, my general planning system. It's going to help you get your outline from point A to point B so that you can draft out your manuscript from point A to point B so that you can take your reader from where they are, point A, to where you need them to be to get to the solution, point B. So you don't have to have a whole lot of free time if you follow the GPS and you can schedule like you schedule a meeting, schedule 45 minutes to 1 hour a couple of times a week to write, I'm gonna do 2 chapters this week. I'm gonna do 2 chapters next week. Before you know it, we're editing, in 30, 40 days. We're ordering the proof in 60 days and we're published in 90. So it's really about how intentional, you're willing to be in order to get it
Yeah.
done. And then, like I mentioned earlier, I think the other myth is that, okay, I mean, is it really going to bring in revenue? Oh, honey, don't get me started. Don't get me started. I mean, yes, you just have to do it the right way. You have to be strategic. You have to give the book a goal. And I say that because, over the years being in different groups with other authors, both fiction and nonfiction, Carly, and they're not giving these books goals. They're not implementing any type of plan to make the
Mm-hmm.
book do anything that it wants them to do. You don't get a return off
Mm-hmm.
of zero. From was zero from zero is zero. So if you're not putting in anything, you're not going to get anything back, basically, is what I'm trying to say. And so it's like, if you're
Yeah.
not marketing, that's just like marketing your business. I mean, is somebody supposed to just find your page and it's like, I want to work with them? You've built no trust. You haven't
Yeah.
talked about what it is that you do. And I mean, a book, it lives forever. It's like evergreen and it's new to anyone who's never read it. So there's always going to be opportunity for you to generate income in your business because of this asset, this tool. um and there's always going to be someone who's never heard of it, right? So I feel that that's that scalability that we talked about earlier, because it is evergreen. It never goes away.
Yeah.
Because how many times do businesses change their offers? And it's nothing wrong with that. That's not a
Mm-hmm.
that's not a dig. I mean, that's just the way business goes. Like, you do have to change some things around,
Yeah.
right? And
Yeah.
with the book, if you're going to always have your one-to-one or even your group, your book is going to always funnel to those areas that bring you more income in your business, that bigger,
Yeah.
high ticket offer, if you will.
Yeah. Have you ever found yourself stuck on what to post or struggling to stay consistent on social media? I've been there, and that's exactly why I created this free guide called 30 Days of Done For You Social Media Prompts for Personal Brands. This guide is loaded with prompts to get your gears turning so you can have a gallery of content to create for your brand and never stress about what to post again. And you can grab it right now at cdcreativecoagency.com/content and start creating content that connects without the stress. No, I think about all the books that like I have read, like even like entrepreneurship books, finance
Mm-hmm.
books, self-help books, things of that sort. Like they've always led to something else. Like always led to either a
Yes.
membership, they've led to like a master class, a free master class, or a in-person conference or something of that sort. And so like hearing, behind the scenes, if you
Mm-hmm.
say, like how people think in the book industry and how they really just use books to leverage their community and really just build on top of what they already have is just so phenomenal. Because me, I would typically just stay in the digital sector, but I've never even, like I said, I've never considered like even being able to put something out like
Right.
that and being able to have myself in other places other than just
Yeah.
online. So I think that it's phenomenal. And I love how you kind of just like literally basically laid out all of these limiting beliefs, because that's typically what people are going to say. I'm not a writer. I'm not an author. I'm not, I don't have time. That's typically what everybody says. And it's like, but the thing is that your book is supposed to be about your lane of genius.
Yeah.
And if it's truly your lane of genius, then you will be able to talk about your lane of genius until you're blue in the face.
Exactly.
We're not asking you to write a story. Like we just want you to tell us something that would help us to solve our problems. So if you are a financial professional, like
Mm-hmm.
help us to save
Yeah.
money, help us to get out of debt. If you are a marketer, you talk about how to market your business in 3 easy steps. It could be something so simple like that. And so I love how you put that, because I know that there's going to be somebody listening that's like, I am not an author.
Right.
I do not know how to
Not
write.
yet.
The thing is, you can do
That's
it.
right. You can do it. You're not an author yet,
You
but you
can
can do
do it.
it. You can absolutely do it. And you said something that was so good,
Yes.
Carly. We're not asking you to talk about anything outside of your lane of genius. I can talk about book
Mm-hmm.
publishing,
Mm-hmm.
all day. People throw their books up and their metadata is wrong. That's important. And makes your book
Mm-hmm.
searchable to people who may not necessarily follow you on social media. And so you're
Yep.
right. So
Yep.
we're asking you to talk about the thing that you've built your business around. We're asking you to talk about the thing that you do every day. And so now I just want to
Yep.
show you how to structure that in a way, just like you can get your client a win working with them one-on-one, you can get readers a win reading your book. It's very easy. It's not as
Yep.
difficult as it seems.
Absolutely. So I want you to walk us through your process, because I know that the gears are turning for so many people, because the gears are turning for myself. And maybe I'm just speaking for myself, but I feel like there's somebody else that I'm speaking for. But walk us through your process or your framework of how you take someone that is an entrepreneur that's like, Auketria, I am at my wits' end with clients. Like, how can I turn this into a brand building
Mm-hmm.
book?
So first, I mentioned it a little bit earlier. My GPS, my general planning system. It's it's designed for people who are busy. It is designed for entrepreneurs. 9 times out of 10, we're doing a gazillion things. Like my daughter said, we're octopusing, right? We've got like a gazillion hands, and they're everywhere, right? In our business, we're the admin, we're the content creator, we're the editor, we're all of the things. And so the GPS, it is exclusively designed for the busy woman entrepreneur, um, to make book writing easy. And so I actually have it designed to where, and it depends on how many chapters they want, then you can just kind of duplicate the effort, for additional chapters. But it's mapped out to help them through as many chapters as they need. The template itself, it gives instructions on how to repeat. But let's say if they're going to write 7 chapters, well, I've actually listed what it is that this is what you want to focus on here. This is what you want to focus on here. Because 9 times out of 10, when we set out to write this brand building book, we want to put ourselves in the shoes of the reader. Where are they when they
Mm-hmm.
read this book? And so that's why the GPS is so very important. Now, some clients come to me and they've already written their manuscript, but I'm reading and I'm like, okay, this chapter, it's a little bit weak and I don't really see the benefit. Let's tweak this. And so, obviously I'll do that as well. But the GPS makes it so easy for them to write the book. I used it when I wrote my latest book because, again, it helps you to determine where your reader is when they read the book. Because if you think back to where you were before you went through this experience in your business, right? Before you came up with this particular solution that you give to clients when y'all work together one to one, you know where they are when y'all connect, right? And
Yeah.
so that is where you start the book from. Where are they now? And what's going to happen in between to get them where you need them to be by that last chapter. So the GPS is designed to help them to document that process so that they're not rambling and all this type of stuff. Because, I ramble sometimes when I talk, but that's what the GPS is for. Let's get your outline done, because that's the science to writing a good book. Even if you're writing even if you're writing fiction, if you follow that outline, you will be done writing the book in 60 days or less, and you'll be published in 90 days or less.
Wow.
You know what I mean? And not that you have to, because some people
Mm-hmm.
want a longer book launch period, and that's perfectly fine. But when you're writing a book that's
Mm-hmm.
brand focused, we simplify that with the general planning system. So that's going to be the first thing that we do. Of course, we also edit. So after we get that general planning system, documented, you get that filled out. You're going to spend the next few weeks, you're going to be writing. So obviously it does take some commitment, right? You're going to spend the next few weeks writing out that manuscript. And then once you've done that, you're going to circle back to me, because I'm going to edit that manuscript. So if I'm going to be looking to identify weak points, or how can we expound on this to make sure that the client, or the reader rather, is getting, or future client is getting a real win and is getting a clear understanding. So we'll make sure that we edit. Of course, the client has to approve the edits and all that good stuff. And in some cases, we do work with clients who kind of want a done with you model, so that we're kind of walking through
Mm-hmm.
the publishing process with them to make sure that they're doing it right. So basically it's more instruction based. um and then some clients is like, you know what, I'm already busy, I have written this book, I have followed this GPS, can you do it? That's fine, we got you, girl. We'll do that too. And so for those who want it done for them, because it's like, yeah, I do have a heavy plate, then we will go ahead and take care of the publishing and distribution process for them. And then, part of the GPS is also to provide that methodology that we talked about, right? Because we're trying to funnel
Mm-hmm.
readers to a premium offer. And so we want to do that. And so we will do the offer strategy with clients, because the offer does need to also, it needs to fit their business life, right, first and foremost, but then also their personal
Mm-hmm.
life. And is this something that you can see yourself committing to, or do you just want to drive them to a one-to-one offer? That's perfectly fine, but the goal is to
Yeah.
give them more time back in their daily lives, right? And so, and to help them to
Mm-hmm.
move past that ceiling that we all reach when we are taking on one-to-one clients. When I work with clients one-to-one, I mean, my coaching program is 90 days. I can't work with 10 people in one 90-day, span of time, right?
Yeah.
So the goal with clients in this book, in this premium offer, okay, let's structure a premium offer for you that is not far-fetched
Mm-hmm.
from your premium offers that you already have, but it does give you some of your time back, and that is when
Yeah.
you move into the memberships and the group coaching program and things of that nature, because you're already doing one-to-one.
Mm-hmm.
So we definitely do that.
Yeah.
And then we do provide launch planning. Launch planning is so important, and I've had plenty of launch fumbles.
Oh my gosh.
Launch fumbles. And so in the launch planning, I also provide clients with their email sequence for their book launch. I think that's really important because they're busy. I'm working on an email sequence right now for a current client whose book is coming out in just a little while. I can't wait to talk about it on my page. But anywho, um, because that's taking some of that admin stuff away. We have enough admin stuff going on in our
Yeah.
businesses, and so we do that as well.
For
Yeah.
sure.
So,
For sure.
and I know that the 90-day coaching, even though it's done with you, it does have the done for you option. 9 times out of 10, clients want the done for you because, let's just be real. I was like, Carly, yeah, I'm going to hire you for my content because, yes, I record content all the time, but I'm tired. I'm tired. So I'm just going to hire an expert to do it. That's what you do, you know? So, but yeah, that's what we do.
Yeah. No, I love that. I think that I really love the fact that you package the two with one another, because it's kind of like you have a book, but what happens after that? You need one and the other. Like you need both.
Right.
You can't just do one without the other. And so I really love how you broke that down and how your program and your offer really hones in, so where no one ever has to figure out, okay, what's my next step or what do I need to do now. It's literally all outlined for
Mm-hmm.
you. And it just makes the whole process less daunting,
Yeah.
because when people think about publishing a book, they think about all of these things that they have to do, and where do I need to publish, who do I need to publish with, how am I going to get it out, all of the things. And so I love how you take the guesswork out of it
Yes.
and just make it so seamless for people that are either considering it, or maybe you're considering it
Mm-hmm.
now, they should listen to this
Right.
episode. But you can either go with the done with you option if you like a more hands-on approach, or if you want, like she said, somebody to do it for you, then that's an option too. I
Yes.
absolutely love
Yes.
that.
Yes. 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 Because I mean, when we spend money, a lot of it involves, what kind of convenience is this going to give me? So that's
Yeah.
something, to think about as well. And then and then clients also have the option to just do an all-out VIP day. So basically they get that 90-day coaching experience in a full day. Yeah.
Mm,
And that's specifically for women entrepreneurs. Like, I don't have 90 days. Like, how can we fast forward this? You know what I mean? Because I mean, we meet
yeah.
those, right? Like, I need this and this, so we have those, and I'm like, okay, I'm gonna have to go ahead and offer up a VIP day for those who is like, I don't have 90 days. Can we move this along sooner than that? And so we do that. But and clients also, they get a proof copy of their books before we close out, and then they get 30 days of post publishing support. So that's also part of the process, because, and especially if it's done for you, right? If it's done for you, you're going to need, like you have tech support with some stuff. You're going to need some post publishing support if we did
Yeah.
it for you. And then after that 30 days, I do a live call very much like this and just kind of sharing the screen to show them how to navigate the dashboard so that they can, manage their book, from henceforth, and, show them how to order copies if they're going to have an event. And so they need to have books at that event
Yeah.
and things of that sort.
The whole full package,
Yes.
honey.
Yes.
Whole
We
full
do it.
package. No, I love that. I love that. And I feel like after listening to this episode, I feel like there's gonna be a lot of people that are like, ooh, I've never ever considered like turning my offer into a
Mm-hmm.
book. And so I'm super
Yeah.
excited because I'm like thinking of how I can get my life together and get my book. So if you see my book coming out in 2026, you better make sure
I know
you get
that's
it,
right.
honey. But before we go, Auketria, I wanted to give you an opportunity to share with the people where they can connect with you, where they can inquire about your services, and how they can work with you.
Yes, yes, yes. So you can connect with me on social media. I am Coach Auketria on Instagram. And so it's Coach and then AUK. I know that my name is pronounced and, it doesn't appear that a U would be there. So if you type in Coach and then AUK, I'm likely the only person to come up. And then you can visit me on my website at themanordigital.com. Definitely go there so you can hear from some of my clients who have had great things happen with their books.
Yes.
Yes,
Super
thank
excited.
you.
Thank you so much, Auketria, for joining us today on the Side Hustler podcast and dropping all your gems and for just spending the evening with
Absolutely.
us.
Thank you so much for inviting me and having me on, Carly. It's a privilege because I think you are a powerhouse, honey. So I am honored to sit down and chat with you about what I do. So thank you for having me. I appreciate it very much.
Thank you. Thank you so much for tuning in to another episode of the Side Hustler podcast. I hope you're leaving here today feeling inspired and ready to take your next step. If you love this episode, I'd love for you to subscribe, leave a review, and share it with another side hustler who needs to hear it. And don't forget to connect with us on Instagram at Carly Dorlin. I'd love to hear about your side hustling journey. Remember, you're doing better than you think, and your dreams are so worth it. Until next time, keep hustling, sis. You got this.